Proclamation of the Holy Gospel according to Luke. While the crowd was pressing in on Jesus and listening to the word of God, he was standing by the lake of Gennesaret. He saw 2 boats there alongside the lake. The fishermen had disembarked and were washing their nets. Getting into one of the boats, the one belonging to Simon, he asked him to put out a short distance from the shore. Then he sat down and taught the crowds from the boat. After he had finished speaking, he said to Simon, "Put out into deep water and lower your nets for a catch." Simon said in reply, "Master, we have worked hard all night and have caught nothing. But at your command, I will lower the nets." When they had done this, they caught a great number of fish, and their nets were tearing. They signaled to their partners in the other boat to come to help them. They came and filled both boats, so that the boats were in danger of sinking. When Simon Peter saw this, he fell at the knees of Jesus and said, "Depart from me, Lord, for I am a sinful man." For astonishment at the catch of fish they had made seized him and all those with him, and likewise James and John, the sons of Zebedee, who were partners of Simon. Jesus said to Simon, "Do not be afraid. From now on, you will be catching men." When they brought their boats to the shore, they left everything and followed him. The Gospel of the Lord.
Our Gospel for today comes from the 5th chapter of the Gospel of St. Luke. We are all familiar with this story. Jesus calling Peter and his companions to join him in mission. So it seems that the 3 readings for today are tied together by the theme of missionary calling. We find in the first reading Isaiah, before God's grandeur and loftiness and holiness, experiencing his unworthiness. But when God cleansed him and insinuated a calling through a question, "Whom shall I send?" Isaiah shifted his focus from his unworthiness to obedience. And so he presented himself. "Here I am, send me." In the second reading, St. Paul fully knew his unworthiness to be a missionary of the risen Lord, the bearer of the message of hope that we sinners have been saved by the risen Lord. Why was he unworthy? Well, he even persecuted the church. He knew that. And it was only by the favor, the grace of God, that he became a missionary. And the fruits of his mission are not attributed to his worthiness. It's only the grace of God that makes him and his mission fruitful. Now in the Gospel, we have Peter and his business partners, the sons of Zebedee, James and John. They were fishermen. Now, look at this. The first 2 readings talked about vision. And then from the vision came the calling. It seems that here in the Gospel, Peter and company had already heard at least about Jesus. And Jesus was in his usual ministry of preaching. And vast crowds were pressing on him. There was not enough space for him and the crowds. So what did he do? He just took over the boat of Peter, because the boat of Peter was close to the bank. The fishermen, after a long period of not catching anything, they just decided to return. And they were already cleansing or cleaning their nets. And Jesus just boarded the boat that belonged to Peter. And from the boat of Peter, he continued preaching. So Jesus used the boat of Peter not for fishing, but for preaching. And after this, he directed the owner of the boat, Peter, to go further out into the sea. But Peter, who was an experienced fisherman, said to the Lord, "Look, we have caught nothing, but because you say so, I will do it." So he allowed the son of the carpenter, and who is a teacher, a rabbi, to direct his fishing activity. Now, I can imagine Peter. He probably was so tired and weary that he was just too willing to try anything, even being led by someone who knows nothing about fishing. No, maybe in his better moods, Peter would have answered Jesus, "Hey, look, I am the expert fisherman, and you are an expert carpenter and teacher. Who are you to direct my catch?" But fruitless as he was, having labored the whole night and having caught nothing, he was just willing to try anything. And the miracle happened. A vision happened. Very similar to the vision of Isaiah and the vision of Paul. The miraculous catch of fish. What Peter and his expert companions could not produce was produced miraculously by this someone who took over his boat and who now is directing his activity. Before that miracle, before the mystery of this catch, Peter, like Isaiah, realized not only who was before him, he realized who he was. He addressed the Lord, "Leave me, Lord. I am a sinful man." And he said this